It's time for the Culture Trumpet Podcast. Please welcome your hosts, Dan.
Alright, Boyle, tidy.
And the other one, Mark.
Hey up, Chuck. Make us brew.
That's how I'm going to start it.
Alright, then go on then.
I didn't know how to start this one, but what I will start is if you are listening from the UK, I hope you had a nice August bank holiday weekend, and to snap you back to reality, that's our last bank holiday until Christmas.
Yay.
How depressing is that? But don't forget, Christmas is going to be cold this winter. Hope you got hoodies, hope you got jumpers, because we can't afford to turn the fucking heating on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go chop a few trees down and get the wood ready.
Make jumpers out of wood? That's not going to work, is it?
Silly boy. Carry on.
Well, news.
So far, your introduction. I'll let you introduce one bloody episode, and you've destroyed it in about 3 minutes.
I mean, less than that. It's 57 seconds.
This will not be happening again. Yes, news. It has been a little bit longer than normal since our last episode, but it's just, I think, been busy for both of us. But we're finally able to catch up. So we've got some bits of news, bits of things that are upcoming. Let's start with the news and what's been happening recently.
Yes. So the first thing that we spoke about quite quickly after we released the last episode was it was sort of rumoured and then it was officially confirmed. So there was a photo going around the interwebs of, I believe, the writers and a producer of Saul. Mm-hmm. Saul, the film franchise from Lionsgate. And then a couple of days later it was like, oh yeah, we're doing a new Saw film. It's out in November 2023. Mm-hmm. I was like, nah, surely not, because they were meant to be doing Spiral 2, but I think that should be left exactly where it is, in the Warner Brothers vault. Not really Warner Brothers, but there's a joke there about cancelling films. Whatever.
There is, yeah.
Use your imagination, it's really funny. And, they're actually going to do Saw X, or Saw 10, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thoughts?
Yeah, interesting that, as you say, it does. The gist of the article and the news is that it's going to be a Saw film rather than a Spiral film.
So not from the book of, it's an actual Saw franchise.
An actual Saw film. So I guess, given that the only character from the original series kind of left alive at the end is the Doctor.
Dr. Gordon.
Dr. Gordon, that's the one, who kind of appeared at the end of the final chapter, which was Saw 7. Jigsaw was then its own kind of thing, standalone. Still a Saw movie, but a standalone one. And then, of course, we had Spiral, right, which was kind of attempting to create this spin-off. So if they're going to go back and make it an actual Saw film, I'll be interested to see how they tie it in with the others.
Yeah.
I think those first 7, right? There's two
First 7.
First 7.
Jesus Christ.
No, I think there's 2 really good trilogies there, right? You've got the first 3 is obviously the Jigsaw story, and then he's kind of definitively dead in the 3rd film, and then you've got 4, 5, and 6. Are the story then of this guy who's carrying on his legacy, this kind of copycat stroke tribute act kind of thing, and that's its own trilogy. And then you've got the final chapter, Saw 7, which kind of ties everything up in a more or less neat bow, right?
Does its job.
And I think you've got 2 really strong trilogies and then 1 film that finishes off. I think Jigsaw, the 8th film, it's fine for what it is. It's okay. Spiral, I think, was a nice idea.
It was a nice idea, but I think it missed the landing, and it didn't feel. The bit that always bugs me with those kinds of films that take, a well-established franchise that you know what you want from it. You want blood, guts, graphic, body torture, right? And what Spiral did, it was graphic, don't get me wrong, but I felt like they kept cutting away from it all. So the scene that I'm thinking of in particular is where the guy has his fingers pulled off by that ratchety thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is going to be really slow and excruciating, and then he just gets fucking electrocuted. Oh, okay. Like, I don't know, but whereas the Saw films, the main franchise, it lingers just a little bit too long on that severed piece of body, and it's just a little bit too long to make you go, ooh, I feel a bit uncomfortable about that now.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I think it tried to do something new. Because obviously there's only so many times you can go back to the
Well, there's only so many times you can
original.
polish, or you can't polish a turd.
Yeah, but there's only so many times you can go back to that original character of Jigsaw and all the rest. So it tried to do something new within that world. But as you say, I don't think it quite stuck the landing. But we'll see. I like the franchise as a whole.
Me
I've
too.
always
Me too.
enjoyed it.
It's
So
one of the only. Well, it was the world's first horror-themed roller coaster,
it was indeed.
and it's a very good ride. If you saw at Thorpe Park, so
Okay.
I saw the ride at Thorpe Park. Still there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is it still there? Okay.
But it's going to the director of Saw 6, which apparently is still of one of the fans' favourite in the entire
Yeah.
series.
And I think he was an editor on several of the films as well. So he's definitely
So he's definitely going to be lingering on these scenes that I've just moaned about for too long.
no. In terms of he's one of the kind of original creative team, and obviously it's the original producers and not the original writers. Obviously that was Lee Winnell and James Wan, but the kind of early writers, early producers. So there's a creative team there from the original block of films.
Well, they've got a lot at stake because it's their baby, isn't it? And that's what
exactly.
that's what I liked about. I can't remember what bloody film it was. Oh no, it was Ghostbusters Afterlife. It was his dad's film, and he had to do
exactly.
a sequel to his dad's films, and he had to get it right.
Yeah, and I wonder if, with it being the 10th film, if Lee Winnell or I doubt James Wan would come back to do anything because he's with the big boys at DC now. But I wonder if Lee Winnell might come back and be involved in any capacity, just as a, probably not.
Nah, doubt it.
Yeah. Okay. This next one, piece of news from as we're recording, from last week. The name Leon Vitali might not be familiar to many people. Have you heard of that person before?
No.
Okay. So he was originally an actor, a British actor. In the early 70s, he was kind of up and coming, young new star. He'd had a few roles in films and TV shows, and he was doing quite well. And then he landed a role in Stanley Kubrick's Barry Lyndon, a fairly sizable role. So he kind of pretty good going. But what he found himself more interested in was the making of the film rather than the being in it. And it would hang out more on the kind of behind the scenes as time went on. And he got to know Stanley Kubrick, and he was kind of got fascinated with the technicalities of making the film, etc. And after that film, he more or less gave up acting completely and became Stanley Kubrick's personal assistant, really. From then on until after Kubrick died, and he was Kubrick's representative on Earth, basically.
Right. Okay.
When Kubrick had to deal with, for example, if there were any kind of festival screenings of any of his films, Leon Vitali would personally supervise and check the print before it was sent out. He would check the color timing, framing, all that kind of thing. He would deal with casting. He was the one who cast the young actor who played Danny in The Shining. He was production assistant, location scout, casting director. He was Kubrick's right-hand man, on call 24 hours a day. And kind of after Kubrick died, he was a little bit kind of left out in the cold. But Warner Brothers, soon after Kubrick died, released a box set of his films that was panned basically by fans for just having abysmal transfers,
Right.
awful, rubbish quality DVD transfers. And so Warner Brothers kind of caved to fan demand, and remastered them properly. And Leon Vitali was called in to supervise that remastering, because he's the only one who was left alive, who knew how they were meant to look. Up until recently, he was supervising all the 4K restorations and re-releases of Kubrick's films. So they've been coming out slowly but surely. And yeah, he unfortunately died last week, and it's kind of like, obviously there's Kubrick's widow is still alive, and she's a well-respected fine artist in her own right. And I think Kubrick's got two daughters who are still around, and one of them is a filmmaker or documentarian at least. But Leon Vitali was like, if you needed to know anything technical about any of Kubrick's films, the film stock that was used, the lenses, the locations, anything, he was the man who had that information catalogued. He was the go-to guy for anything to do with Kubrick.
That's pretty cool.
It is, but there's a brilliant documentary called Film Worker, which I really do suggest everyone checks out, and it's about Leon, because for a long time he was kind of this unsung hero. You'd see him on any behind the scenes clips from The Shining or Full Metal Jacket. You can see him stood there in the background, right?
Right.
But he's never kind of called out as who he was and what he was doing there. So he was very much uncelebrated. And this documentary, I think it was from 2015 or 16, was just about him. And it interviewed like actors who'd worked with him, interviewed studio executives and so on, who were really kind of, no, this guy was like, he gave up. He could have, I mean, Barry Lyndon could have turned him into a star, right? He could have been one of these British actors that we talk about now in the same terms of, like, your Terence Stamps or your Anthony Hopkins, or what, these
Yeah.
Michael Caine kind of old school British actors who've had this body of work, and he just gave all that up to work behind the scenes, to work away from the cameras, to not pursue his dreams of being an actor, and he devoted his life to working with Stanley Kubrick, which is cool, but also, like, I mean, it affected his family. It split his family up. His kids never saw him, and he was estranged from his kids for quite some time. They are in the documentary, and you can tell they're kind of better than they were, but they were separated for quite some time.
Right.
And in the documentary, even now, he's like, I wouldn't change a thing, because I worked with the master. And you just don't get that kind of commitment and devotion anymore.
No, I guess.
And it was real. I was genuinely really fucking upset, because I love Kubrick. I think Dead or Alive is probably my favorite director, and that kind of obsession that he had, and it's like Leon Vitali was the only person who was maybe equal to that obsession and could keep up with it. And it's like, that's it now. The kind of this world's connection, this world's direct line to the ghost of Kubrick is gone. I mean, as I say, I was working through the restorations of the films, and I think the only other one left that we haven't had released yet is Eyes Wide Shut, which he was in. He did actually appear in that as a couple of different characters, but behind masks and cloaks and things.
Gotcha.
But I really hope he was able to finish supervising that last film, because, yeah, No, yeah, that's it. Just if you can find Film Worker, it's on DVD. I think you can buy it off Amazon digitally. Watch it, and you'll never see anything close to the devotion that he had for Kubrick.
That's cool. It's
You'll
definitely
never see
interesting.
anything. And it's really sad. It's really sad, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on to more cheerful things.
So let's move on to Disney Plus Day. It's the second year we've had this now, I believe.
Yeah, which
And
they've been up and running for three
years, I
now,
think.
so,
I think they did a Disney Plus Day when it was the anniversary of the thing, and now, obviously, it's the anniversary again.
Yep.
They're going to do another one, and I mean, I kind of called the headline of this. Let's face it, we were talking in the Slack channels a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, it's going to come to Disney Plus Day, isn't it?" And by this, I haven't said what it is yet. Thor, Love and Thunder, but also the making of.
Yep.
So, if you're a Steelbook collector of the MCU like I am, those pre-orders are now live on Zavvi.
Mm-hmm.
Both the regular 4K Steelbook and also the 4K Steelbook with extra shit. That's there too.
Yeah. Which have you ordered, just out of interest?
Well, being as I called it with extra shit, I've ordered the one that isn't the extra shit. Because one, it's an extortionate amount of money for a bit of cardboard, but also it's just like another thing to... Like, I'm not going to then go back and collect all the other ones with the extra shit.
Yeah, the extra shit ones, as far as I'm aware, are just ones going forward. They're not going to be going back to doing anything.
I don't need art cards.
Yeah, I got that version of Doctor Strange, though I didn't order it until after release day, so I could use the code SBR10 for 10% off in stock steelbooks. You're welcome. So I managed to save a fiver on it. It's not worth 50 quid, right? Definitely. But I got it just to see what it was like. It's fine, but it ain't worth 50 quid. In terms of Thor, I've not ordered either because I really don't like the artwork. No, let me recorrect. I like the artwork. It's just a shame they've spoilt it with that fucking silver border all the way around it.
Considering I've not seen Thor yet, I mean, I'm collecting it anyway because I'm going to be buying the damn thing.
Yeah.
I've not seen the film yet, so
Right.
Whatever.
Fair enough.
I don't care what the artwork is. As we're moving properties, I've been packing up my steelbooks today, and taking all the spine stickers off that we talked about in one of the other episodes about collecting.
Yeah.
The continuity of spines is actually the title, and some of them I was like, oh, these are great, and some of them are actually quite consistent now looking back at it. But then you got some of the older ones. They were just like, "Yeah, we do what the fuck we want."
Yeah.
But now I've ordered it. Anyway, back to Disney Plus Day.
Disney Plus Day. So yeah, the film's coming out.
Yeah, that's good.
The making of. Now those making ofs are really good. They're all about an hour long, and they've done them for the last few films.
Is this the assembled?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So they're all about an hour long. They've done one for each of the last few films, as well as the TV shows. It's a shame they're not on the discs, because the stuff that's on the discs is pretty lightweight press kit stuff.
Oh, that really annoyed me. I mean, it was No Way Home, which they never... I don't think they ever explicitly said we were going to get loads of special features, but we did have the press junkets, which we'd seen on YouTube before the film had even come out.
Yeah. Now, given that the disc is out after it's out on Disney Plus, that means that making of documentary is ready. They could put it on the disc as well. It's not like they're stealing any thunder from Disney Plus.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's a shame they're not putting those on, because there are some nice documentaries on there. But anyway, yes. So we're getting Love and Thunder in the documentary, so that should be good.
Sticking with making ofs,
yeah,
we're getting the making of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
which will be cool.
Again, it'll be a good one. They did a good one for Mandalorian 1 and 2. I think that they did one for Boba Fett as well, didn't they? So
I can't remember. I didn't watch them if they did.
Yeah, the Mandalorian ones were okay. They did like a whole series for the first season, like half a dozen episodes, or maybe not that many, but they did a few episodes to cover the first season, and then for season 2 they just did a one-off, and then for Boba Fett I think they did a one-off. So they've clearly found their format, right? Of as a single one. But this should be interesting because they'll cover behind the scenes and reuniting people.
It's that,
and all
isn't it?
that
It's the
kind of thing.
reuniting, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, it's your favourite Star Wars actor, Hayden Christensen. See how him and McGregor are together again,
Yeah.
and like the training videos of them doing their lightsaber battles and all that jazz. But
Yep.
again, from a Star Wars Lucasfilm Industrial Light and Magic side of things, how they used the void or the volume, I think it's called the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
worth a watch.
in terms of how they used it, I think the word "over" is
Okay.
probably the best. When you look at the stuff for Obi-Wan, compare that to the trailers we've seen for Andor,
Valid point.
which is like real locations out in forests, wherever. I mean, Andor is obviously carrying on that Rogue One aesthetic, and it's Dan Gilroy, who was one of the writers of Rogue One, is carrying it on, and I think Rogue One is going to look spectacular.
Andor is going to look spectacular.
Sorry, I think we'll leave that one in. I'll leave that correction in. That's
You'll leave
fine.
my intellectual prowess in there, correct?
I'm going to take that line out. So, no, I think Andor is going to look really good. And I think it's going to look really good, especially in contrast to the last few Star Wars shows that have been literally wall-to-wall volume.
Clever.
It'll be nice to kind of get out on location. If I understand the snippet of an interview that I read, they didn't use the volume at all. But
in Andor,
yeah,
I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah, I'm sure they have, but clearly they've been out on proper locations as well, a lot more than the other shows. So that's kind of.
Oh no, you're missing the best bit.
Oh, go on.
Your favourite franchise, Cars.
Oh, Cars. There's an animated series for Cars. Cars gets slagged off as being among the shitter of the Pixar films.
I mean, I have seen Cars 2, and that told me everything I needed to know about not wanting to watch Cars 3. But apparently Cars 3 is okay.
What is good is that they've got the stars back. Owen Wilson is doing the voice, and Larry the Cable Guy.
I didn't believe when I saw that trailer drop. I was like, I'm going to watch this. Like, I'll watch the trailer. It looks fun to begin with, but secondly, I was like, is that actually Owen Wilson? Like, granted, he's not the household name he used to be, but also I think that's by design. But anyway, let's not go into that. But he's working on Disney's The Haunted Mansion, that film.
Yep.
And I mean,
don't forget Loki.
Oh yeah, that other big thing.
Yeah,
he's working on that as well. So he's getting back. It's all Disney. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, he's taking the Disney dollar, isn't he? Without a doubt.
But I'm a big Owen Wilson fan. Larry the Cable Guy. I didn't realize that's actually his name.
Yes.
What the fuck is that about?
Mr. the Cable Guy. Yeah.
No, that's my father. Call me Larry the Cable Guy. Like, what? Why? Enlighten me. I don't know this.
He's some stand-up comedian, and that's his
fucking
character.
Hilarious.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
He plays Mater. He's got nothing to do with cables.
I think Cable Guy as in TV.
Well, no shit. But it's not even funny.
Well, Americans though.
Just
they
says it all.
find the weirdest
His name's
shit.
Daniel Lawrence Whitney, known professionally.
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, there you go. You know what these Americans are like, though. They'll laugh at anything.
Jesus Christ.
So Disney Plus Day is on the 8th of September.
Thank you.
Which is next Thursday, I'm recording this. And then on the 9th, 10th and 11th, there's D23 Expo, which is obviously the biggie for all things Disney, not just Disney Plus, right?
No, so they'll be covering theme parks as well in that, which is why I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. But they kind of just cover absolutely everything, right? As you say, theme parks and other stuff as well. So I think there's a few things that fans are hoping to hear about, and the one that's really kind of buzzy at the minute is for Fantastic Four.
Well, because they have sort of said that the cast and creatives will be released during D23. They've announced that.
Well, who's announced that?
I swear Disney did.
No.
Who?
No.
Who?
In terms of Fantastic Four, Disney haven't confirmed anything about what's
I thought they did.
being announced. No, the rumours, there might be reports in the trade that's what's going to be announced, but Disney themselves haven't announced anything.
I'm convinced.
Well, while you go
Find the
off
source,
and get the fact-checking elf to help you, I'll just cover a couple of things that certainly makes sense, right? Because one of the reports that was in one of the trades last week is that Matt Shackman, who was a director on WandaVision and also previously on Game of Thrones, had been lined up to direct the next Star Trek film, the next of the J.J. Abrams verse Star Trek films of Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and all the others. Now he's just left that, which has kind of fueled rumours that he's left it because he's going to be announced as the Fantastic Four director.
Interesting.
So that timing-wise makes sense because both of those films are going to have to enter production very soon. So you obviously can't do both at once. In terms of casting, obviously we had John Krasinski as Reed Richards in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but that was never kind of set in stone that he would then be Reed Richards going forwards. It was definitely some fan casting because people had wanted him for ages. But then it's a case of, well, is it a one and done just for the fans to give them him as Reed Richards, or is he going to be back? Again, the kind of rumours are that he's not, but that Penn Badgley, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his surname.
I assume.
Who stars in You on Netflix. Don't know if you've seen that.
Oh yeah, big fan. Really good show.
Yeah. So he's been rumoured for Reed Richards.
I can see it. I mean, I think he is a better darker character, having watched You, and he creeps me the fuck out. I would still like to see Krasinski. I'm a big fan of Krasinski.
I would.
In both The Office and the silent, what are they called? Silent films. Quiet Place. The silent locations, those famous films. Oh, Christ. Quiet Place. Brilliant. Really like him.
Yeah.
As a writer, director, actor. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now,
I would like to see him back.
Well, cast the rest of them then.
Okay. The Thing. Oh, do you know there was a bit of can fasting, and there was also a bit of fan casting. Hang on a minute.
Well, Jason Segel.
Oh God, no. The one I saw that I actually thought, oh, I'd never have thought of that before, but that actually could work. Is Seth Rogen?
No, thank you. I mean, I like Seth Rogen, but he's been overused now, I think, for the last 20 years.
But do you not think in this kind of film, different kind of character?
I mean, if I have to for like 2 hours during a film that I'm really looking forward to,
okay,
like, I'm slagging Seth Rogen off. I do really like Seth Rogen, but
it sounds like it, yeah.
I just think no, not for this.
Okay,
not for this.
Okay, go on then. Who would you have for The Thing?
I don't know. Every now and again I watch something like, oh, he'd be really good, and I never make a note of it.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Segel, I can definitely see that, but I'm thinking he's just gonna be a CG blob on a screen, isn't he? Like
most of it, yeah.
Like Ruffalo is in She-Hulk, which we'll come to later. But like, Michael Chiklis was quite good as The Thing. Whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm worried about who's going to be Doctor Doom more than the Fantastic Four, because he's going to have to be a good casting, because when it comes through to the rest of the Avengers movies and Secret Wars, for example,
Yeah.
Doom has to be batshit and be the scary character we need.
Yeah.
And I think Penn would be a better Doctor Doom than Reed Richards.
Okay.
I tell you who would be. I'm finished. I tell you who would be a good Doctor Doom.
Go on.
Have you seen BBC's adaptation of Dracula?
Oh, you mean Clay's Crash Bang Wallop?
Him.
Yeah.
Brilliant Doctor Doom he would be.
Okay. Yeah. Is it Class Bang?
Clace or Class, I don't know. He's in Bad Sisters on Apple TV Plus, which one episode.
Yeah.
He's
in the
you're
Northman as
okay.
well.
He's in who?
The Northman as well. The Northman.
Oh.
He's in that as
I
well.
call you the Northman.
Hey. Yeah. Okay. He could be quite good, actually. You know.
But other than that, I'm not really sure. He needs to be a menacing chap, and if if the rumours are to be true that Giancarlo Esposito, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I could call him Gus Fring. Was in talks with Marvel, and playing potentially Professor X. I'm behind that. But also, he'd be a good Doctor Doom.
He would. He would.
And everyone would go, oh, it's a white guy in the comics. Oh, fucking give over it. As long as they play the character well, I couldn't give two shits.
I think, looking at Clay Spang, though, I think he'd be good because he's got that physicality. He's not too old.
No.
So you can
You've got the longevity there for, the
exactly.
5-year plan, whatever it is.
Exactly. He's nearly 6.5 foot tall. So
Jesus, he's a lot taller. Well, he was great in He's menacing in Dracula.
Yeah. Although, actually, he's 55 years old. He looks bloody good. Bloody hell.
All right, keep it in your pants.
He's a fine-looking man.
He's got a funny name, though, isn't he?
Hasn't he? Clash Bang Wallop.
So what else did they say? So, again, I'm just scrolling through Twitter now.
Oh, well, just quickly about Doctor Doom. So I've read a rumour, and again, bucket of salt time, that we are going to see Doctor Doom first in a post-credits scene in Black Panther 2.
I'd be okay with that, because in what film was it where there was cake? Oh, it was in Hawkeye. In Hawkeye, they commandeer a bakery van.
Yeah.
And all the boxes had, I want to say Von Doom. Might not have been Von Doom, but it was a link to Jesus wept.
Are you not confusing it with Moon Knight when he's in that van in the first episode?
I am confusing it with that van. Yes, it's that one.
But you're right, yes. And there was talk that sequence was set in Latveria.
That's the Badger, Latveria.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so that they've definitely started dripping it in. 100%.
Yeah. But what I've read is that the Doom we'll see Doom in this post-credit scene for Black Panther 2, but it won't be unmasked. So it doesn't matter if they haven't cast the actor yet, because it'll be like a body double or whatever, just playing him for now, kind of thing.
Okay, here's this for a fan casting.
Go on then.
Obviously, Krasinski, he's not going anywhere.
Mm.
Alison Brie.
What, for Reed Richards?
Yeah.
Strange one.
Change the gender. Why? Let's go
Brave.
woke. Fantastic woke fall. Obviously, first Susan Storm. Joe Kerry of Stranger Things fame for the Human Torch.
Yeah.
He's got to be a young, cocky, Jack the Lad, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I could see that one. I could see that one.
Other than that, I haven't really seen many.
No, the one I'm kind of struggling with is probably Sue Storm, because at the minute it feels like Marvel have kind of already got every actor in Hollywood. There's not many left. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I have just scrolled past Zac Efron potentially as Johnny Storm.
Yeah, keep scrolling. That's fine.
I like Zac Efron. I don't know what you're on about.
But he's not young though.
Doesn't have to be young.
But you just said if it's the young, cocky...
I'm sorry. Is Zac Efron younger than you? Yes. Move on. It's like, yeah, he's older than me, but he's still a child in... He's younger than Downey Jr.
Anyway.
Who else? I can't save this part. Anyway, back to D23. What else is coming out? More Phase 5 and 6 titles, right?
Well, hopefully. Again, they've not announced anything, so let's hope. But there's definitely some gaps to fill. I think certainly for Phase 6, isn't there? I think the only two things they've announced for Phase 6 are two more Avengers films. There's the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, right?
Yes.
So I think there's... Or was Fantastic Four one of the Phase 6 films as well?
No, Fantastic Four, I think, closes Phase 5.
5, something like that. But there's still like half a dozen or more gaps in that Phase 6 timeline. So whether that's going to be more TV shows on Disney or whether it's going to be more films, we can, I guess, assume there might be... I mean, what we're looking at, maybe a Black Panther 3 by that point, a Thor 5 maybe.
Well, I'm convinced I hope not. I'm convinced they're going to have to start drip feeding the idea of X-Men Deadpool 3, because Ryan Reynolds is in training now for that.
Yeah, Deadpool 3 I am sure is going to be one of them that's going to be confirmed. Now, I read, because I do a lot of reading, I like the big words, I read a really interesting thing. Theory stroke. It was a theory, but it's a theory that is sound and it makes sense in Hollywood, right? As to why...
Nothing makes sense in Hollywood, Mark.
As to why nothing about the X-Men has been confirmed yet, other than that they're coming, right? Why there haven't been any announcements. And it's this. It's that for the next year or two, because of deals put in place, contracts put in place, when Fox was its own company and when the X-Men belonged to Fox, if Marvel want to do anything with the X-Men that involves recasting any of the characters, the original actors, some of the original actors, will be owed a huge payoff.
So is this similar to the whole... who was it? Frank Sinatra.
Die Hard.
Thank you.
They've got a big... Yeah, right, exactly.
Similar, but not really.
Similar, but there's contracts in place. So for anyone who doesn't know, with Die Hard is actually based on a book that is a sequel to a book called The Detective. That was made into a film which starred Frank Sinatra. So part of the contract was when it came time to make the sequel, he had to be offered the role first. Now, obviously, that was in the mid-80s. He was way too old. He wasn't interested. So the company was then free to go on and cast somebody else. With his blessing, he signed on a dotted line, etc. There's something similar here, what I've read, which is that, yeah, if they want to recast any of those main characters, like Wolverine, say if they want to recast Wolverine, they've got to pay Hugh Jackson a shitload of money. If they want to recast Magneto, then I'm assuming it'll be Fassbender, who's owed a load of money. Maybe Ian McKellen as well, right? But also, not just the actors, there are producers on those original films who still have deals in place that they have to be involved in any future X-Men films up to a certain date.
Which is fine, because they could go, Hugh, we're going to do another one. Are you in? He's like, I never took my claws off, but...
Well, that's the thing, right? And because this theory goes that that's why Professor X has been in, because they didn't recast that role. They just got Patrick Stewart back. That's why they're fine and happy to do Deadpool, because they're keeping Ryan Reynolds. Right.
I mean, he's no spring chicken, you know. He's only in his mid-40s, Mark.
Well, sure, but it's not.
I mean, I'm being sarcastic because he can do, Jesus Christ.
It's not the age; it's the mileage, right? But that is a really sound theory, I think, as to why they've not actually, other than those two characters, whether keeping or have kept the same actor, why they're not doing anything else just yet. Because for another year or so, any movie that recasts They have to pay off the original actor as well as the producers who still have the deals in place. So I suspect we may get some X-Men announcements at D23, but we're looking at Phase 6 in 2024 onwards before we actually get any films.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because I just think, from what I read, I think the deals are in place for at least another year. So they can't do anything until 2024 at the earliest.
I mean, the X-Men was the first, superhero franchise that I remember watching. And I remember, it was a bit more grown up than your other things. It's a bit more grown up than Iron Man, I felt. But that came out years later.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, I loved Hugh Jackman. Like, I thought he was... Anything he was in, I'd give it a go.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then as soon as he sort of went, I'm done, I was like, I'm disappointed by that. And I watched Logan again for the first time in a couple of months the other week. And it's still as bloody good as it was when it first came out.
It really is.
I don't think there's any, other than like Robert Downey Jr., I don't think there is anybody else in the superhero franchises that have embodied a role as well as Hugh Jackman and Wolverine.
I would put
you're so sure of this, you know it like off the tip of your tongue.
I would put Chris Evans as Steve Rogers in there as well.
I think I'll allow that.
Just because of the stuff I've said before about his arc throughout the films and the way he kind of handled that. You're right about Robert Downey Jr. He absolutely got it. But I don't feel like his character had as much of an arc as Steve Rogers did. But anyway, recasting some of those roles. I don't envy whoever it is they choose as Wolverine, because they have got some huge shoes to fill. Huge
claws to fill. Definitely. But I think I'd like them to go comic now and go short ass. Short man syndrome Wolverine. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
And secondly, I might have a better chance of cosplaying a tiny man with metal claws. The whole Professor X and Magneto. Two massive heavyweights of British acting. Shakespeare, Royal Shakespeare Company actors.
Yeah.
Magneto needs to be an absolute badass this time round.
I think Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X. I can see that. And I think that'd be a nice.
But would he be British?
I don't think the comic book characters.
I'm not sure. I know he studied at Cambridge.
I think that, but I think he's always been American. I just think it was that in fact it was Patrick Stewart that he's been kind of thought of as British.
Well, let's get the fact checking elf in, shall we?
Oh, go on then.
Professor X is a fictional character. Knew that. No, I definitely knew that. Check the character. Not sure where he says he's from. Oh, character biography. He was born in New York City.
There you
so
go.
So he can be a Yank. It's all good.
Indeed. So I think Giancarlo Esposito's Professor X could be quite good.
I mean, he's Danish, so it's all going to go Pete Tong.
Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah, he's Danish.
Are you sure?
Fact check.
This is the fact-checking elf. Please stand by for a fact check. Fact check incoming.
Oh, the suspense here, and I think I'm right.
He was born in Denmark. Well, there you bloody well go.
Goody her. Yeah, exactly. That's Swedish. That's okay. We'll cut that. Yeah.
But his nationality is American.
Oh yeah, of course he is. He's yeah.
Well, okay, so his dad was Italian, his mum was African American. Well, there you bloody well go. Well, if he's going to be Professor X, I think Bryan Cranston has to be Magneto.
Oh,
how's that for some fan casting apples?
Let us know in the comments below. Hate that bell. Oh, Jesus Christ! Sorry, I nearly
subscribe button.
I nearly turned into a YouTuber then. Okay, moving on from Disney, let's go to other streaming services are available. Let's go to the other juggernaut, Netflix.
They finally announced a release date for Glass Onion.
which, for those not in the know, is the Knives Out sequel not called Knives Out.
Cannot wait. Is it a Knives Out mystery? I think is the subtitle for the film.
I actually don't know.
Let me just double check. This fact-checking elf is working hard today, isn't
I mean, we should probably pay him.
Glass Onion, sounds painful. A Knives Out mystery. And yet again, star-studded, right?
Sorry.
Got
I'm still laughing.
grow up. Got Daniel Craig, Ethan Hawke, Catherine Hahn, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, tons of people. Yeah,
If they've not been announced to be in Glass Onion yet, they will be next week. That's how I remember looking at it.
Cannot wait. I don't think we've had a trailer yet. I'm really looking forward to seeing the trailer.
Still's just got announced, I believe. Released. Is Knives Out 1 called Knives Out, a Knives Out story now?
No, Knives Out is still Knives Out. I think it's been renamed, subtitled Episode 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I nearly fell for that. Now, I'm looking forward to December 23rd as well, so a nice Christmas film.
It's getting a cinema release as well, I believe, a limited cinema,
that's pretty cool.
Release. But God, Knives Out is one of the most fun films in the last few years.
I like it.
Really looking forward to it.
One of Christopher Plummer's last films as well, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
I didn't realise how old he was, and he was bloody good for his age.
Yeah.
I mean, not good enough, clearly, but, you know.
Bit rude. Too soon.
And then also moving on into... I've completely lost my train of thought.
Shall we do some quick reviews?
We will, but before we do...
Go on.
I have final say. Halloween ends, the trailer's out, and I'm just going to leave that there. Go watch it. Go watch the trailer. I don't think it gives much away this time, whereas Halloween Kills did.
Great trailer. I can't remember if we've already mentioned it or not in a previous episode.
Halloween Kills?
The fact that the trailer's out. Because...
Well, we can say it again and people can now be informed thusly.
I did pop it in the notes, but then I was looking at when the trailer was released, and it was released before our last episode.
I thought you removed them. Anyway.
Yeah, but if we have mentioned it before, tough shit, we're mentioning it again, because can't wait, and everyone needs to go see it.
Can't wait.
So, let's blast through some quick reviews. What have we been watching?
Everything, because we've been off a week. So She-Hulk is now 2 episodes in at time of recording. It'll be 3 by the time this goes out.
Yes.
What are your first thoughts?
I'm enjoying it a great deal.
Likewise.
It's nice and light-hearted. I'm liking the fourth wall breaking bits.
Don't really understand the point of that yet, but a theory that me and the other half has is it's getting people ready for the introduction of Deadpool.
And
it's
absolutely.
testing those waters, I feel.
I would agree, although it's safe to say after 2 films...
I would agree, but no.
Well, how can I put this?
It's fourth wall in the MCU. They've got to try it somewhere.
Sure. But I think anyone who knows Deadpool knows that's what he does anyway.
True.
But nevertheless, there's some nice little bits in there. I think the second episode, a nice little gag about Mark Ruffalo being recast.
I'm literally a different person now.
And then she just looks at the camera and goes, ha.
There's also a Wolverine Easter egg and a blink and you'll miss it moment.
There is a little Wolverine Easter egg.
We won't say what it is. Go Google it.
But yeah, I think there's been a nice little... The humour is... It's just jolly, kind of light-hearted, bubbly kind of stuff. The effects are pretty good for TV. I mean, I say TV budget. They've still got bigger budgets than most of the shows added up.
The only thing I've got against it is I don't think when Jen's form, I still don't think that looks as crisp as it should.
Yeah.
But in their defense, and they also made this defense, they've had how many years to get Ruffalo looking like he does now?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's taken a long time, yeah. Obviously, that she'll be in more shows and movies, so it will evolve and it'll improve. But so far, really enjoying it. I like the behind the the after credits sequences. Apparently, every episode has one, which
Good
I
enough for
think
me.
is a first for the MCU TV shows. They've not all had them, or they've not had one every episode anyway. Yeah, great fun. I'm really enjoying it. So also that's been out a couple of weeks, also on Disney Plus in the UK or Hulu in the States, and I'm assuming Disney Plus worldwide because Hulu I think is only in the States, is Prey, which was original. Well, it's a Predator prequel or stroke sequel, right? It's a Predator movie set, I think, was it 200 or 300 years ago?
About that, yeah.
Yeah. Originally, the idea was it was going to be kind of a secret Predator film. It had a
That sounds
different.
terrible. What are you? I'm a secret predator.
Well, it was produced under the production name Skulls, and the
Sorry,
the
schools.
Skulls,
Schools.
Skulls,
Do you come with subtitles? I can't actually.
SKULLS, pronounced twat.
I deserve
and
that.
the director actually didn't want to reveal the fact it was a Predator film until very close to release. So I think his original plan was that the first trailer wouldn't have anything that would clue you in that it's a Predator film. But then it got found out. It got leaked that it was indeed a Predator film. So kind of that plan went out the window. What did you think about the film?
I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was as brutal as everybody was making out to be. It wasn't also as tense as I think the trailer made it out to be. So after watching that, I was disappointed. But it was a good movie. Yeah, I didn't hate it.
I really liked it. I think you're right that it wasn't quite as people making it out to be far gorier than it was.
Some of the CG was questionable of some of the animals.
Yes, that the bear was a little bit dodgy at times, wasn't it? But I liked the look of the film as a whole.
I did too.
Some of the cinematography was spectacular. Amber Mid Thunder. Let me just. This bloody fact checking elf's going to be pissed off.
Gonna want overtime at this rate. We've got to stop.
Oh, she isn't she? Yeah, I thought Amber Mid Thunder as lead character Naru was just fantastic. I cannot wait to see what she does next. The look, the design of the Predator was cool, like really cool.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was a great film. I think it's.
And there was only one, I think, fan service in it, which was well, if it bleeds, we can kill it, and that was it.
Well, there was there was also a little link to Predator 2.
With the gun?
With the gun,
Yeah.
which I thought was a nice, because it wasn't like in your face, but it's like if you know it, you know it, kind of thing. So I like that. I thought it was great. Shame it didn't get a cinema release.
I think that would have been quite cool in the cinema, definitely.
Because I think it would have been one of those big crowd pleasing. I can't imagine it being like a massive blockbuster.
No.
But it'd have been one of those crowd pleasing, getting people cheering kind of things. And there's some good action. Yeah, I liked it. I hope they do make another one, because I'd like to see where the story goes next.
Yes, because the after credit or the credits sort of hint at the Predators turning up going, what?
Yeah. So I think and I actually like the fact as well, it kind of went to a different time, because obviously we had Predator 1 and 2 were just kind of on Earth in their respective time zones, and more or less. Predators took it to a Predator planet. Fine. The Predator, let's not even fucking talk about
They never
that.
made it, we're on about.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the idea here. Okay, well, let's have a Predator in like Middle Ages England fighting knights. Let's have a Predator.
I say, there's this funny looking chap in the village.
Hello, exactly. Right. 'Tis but a scratch, right? So it's like, but do you know what I mean? The kind of, let's do that. Let's say they've been coming here for a long time, right? Let's have them in these different places and at these different times, fighting against whatever the warriors of that era were.
Yeah.
So here we've got.
No, let's go like a dynasty. You know, Japan and samurais and shit. That'd be cool.
Yes,
That'd be cool.
exactly right. Let's go to these time periods where there were, was it Genghis Khan, the kind of Mongol hordes kind of things, or as you say, Japan with the samurai, or China with their kind of warriors, and that lets as a way to explore different time periods and scenarios. I thought it was a great idea. Okay, so House of the Dragon.
It's got me hooked again.
Hmm.
Like, I was a big Game of Thrones fan. I came to it quite late, so I remember buying series, I think 1 to 4 off eBay, for like 15 quid when it was series 5 had just finished, I think.
Yeah.
And binged it, blitzed it, and went, holy shit, this is cracking telly. And then series 8, well, let's not talk about it, but when they said they're doing House of the Dragon, I thought, I don't care. I've watched the first episode and I care again if it turns out.
Absolutely. I was the same.
It's not, like, not to give too much away, it's very obvious it's a Game of Thrones television show.
Well, have you watched episode 2 yet?
No, it's probably today's viewing.
Okay. All I'm going to say is the opening credits make it more obvious than anything else. If you were in any doubt whatsoever,
well, I think you've just absolutely given away the fact that in the end of episode 1, they sort of make hints with some of the motifs of da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So clearly, it opens with that. Thanks, Mark. Ruined my day. Thanks. Son's crying now.
Whole episode's ruined. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm the same as you.
I'm so fucking angry. I'm gonna turn it off now.
I really enjoyed it. I'm the same as you. I came to it quite late, so I had a 3 or 4 season binge to catch up with it all. Got really into it, and again when this was announced, it was like, well, okay, yeah, fine. And then the first stills came out, and it was like, well, yeah, it looks like Game of Thrones. Okay, fine. But that first episode, I think some of the CGI shots of the city of King's Landing looked a little bit
janky.
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought some of the dragon as well. I was like, I'm not believing that too much.
I wonder if they're going for, because it's set before Game of Thrones, I wonder if they're going for a time when the city wasn't as run down, maybe. It looked a little bit too bright and shiny, if you know what I mean. And I just wonder if that was intentional. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see. But as always, the acting's phenomenal. The cast they have is brilliant.
I mean, I love Paddy Considine and Rhys Ifans and Matt Smith all going to go head to head at some point. Like, 3 brilliant actors, and the young girl who's playing, I can't remember her bloody name.
Millie Alcock is the actor.
Excuse me?
Millie Alcock.
Okay.
Is the actor.
Definitely can't make any jokes about that.
And he's playing Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra, that's it. Rhaenyra? I was going to say Ramona, but it's not Ramona at all.
But apparently, halfway through the season, there's going to be like a 10-year time jump.
Okay, cool.
And she is then going to be played by a different actor.
Oh, spoiler alert for anyone else.
It's already announced that there's 2 actors playing the same character.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And one is much older. So Emma Darcy will play her in the later on in the season.
Because have you read the Game of Thrones books?
No.
No, I've not either.
No. Apparently this is based on, is it Ice and Fire? Which,
I don't know.
My understanding of Ice and Fire is that it's not particularly a narrative book. It's more like a quote-unquote history book.
This is the fact-checking elf. Please stand by for a fact check. Fact check incoming.
Stand by for the seamless last-minute insertion.
House of the Dragon is, of course, based on the book Fire and Blood, not Ice and Fire. So there we go.
That's the end of the seamless last-minute insertion.
Like the book, like Fantastic Beasts was. It was like a reference.
Yeah. So it's a history book of the whole world and so on. But yeah, I think all the performances are great. As I say, Millie Alcock as Rhaenyra, I think is brilliant. She is. I mean, the character's only meant to be 15 or 16 years old, but I think she's in her early 20s.
Yeah,
but
22.
She is absolutely kick-ass.
I'm
She's
enjoying
Australian as well, isn't she? Yeah, she's Australian. I'm really enjoying it. As you say, Paddy Considine, just brilliant. Watch anything he's in.
Yeah, he sounded like him then as well.
Yeah. And Matt Smith as well, because he's so tied with the Doctor.
He was getting some shit online. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, he's doing a job. He's got to play a mean bastard.
Yeah.
I think Smith's really good at playing a mean bastard. You don't really see it much in Doctor Who, but you get there's one episode of Doctor Who. Well, there's probably lots of episodes of Doctor Who where he has to turn on a pin to be like, "No, I'm serious now. Stop fucking with Earth." And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm really liking him in this. So yeah, we're kind of 2 episodes in now. I think it's a 10-episode season, and it's already been renewed for season 2.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I think it had HBO's biggest ever premiere, and I think it was Sky's biggest ever premiere as well in the UK.
I think I read that there was 10 million people watching it live.
Yep.
And then, like, that doesn't take into account HBO Max or Sky Go or whatever.
Streaming and all that stuff, yeah. But, yeah, off to a... I have to say that the thing that with the Game of Thrones that got me, that I struggled with, it took me 3 attempts to watch the pilot episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I tried it, gave up, tried it again a year or so later, gave up, and then the third go, I thought, right, let's give it a go. And I was like you, I kind of got a season. I thought, I'm going to watch a load of them together. I think if I'd have watched it weekly when it first came out, I don't think I'd have kept watching it, because I find the first couple of episodes, just because there's so many characters and all that kind of thing, I found the first couple of episodes real slog. And if I hadn't have watched the whole season in one go, I don't think I would have carried on watching it. But this episode 1, I felt moved much quicker. It was much pacier and did a much better job of introducing those characters, because straight away I was like, right, I know what's going on here. And to be fair, that probably comes with having some built-in knowledge from watching Game of Thrones anyway. You're familiar with the different kingdoms and the families and all that. So,
although what I couldn't get behind was Hightower. I can't remember that in the Game of Thrones. Doesn't matter for this, but
but great. Off to a great start. Fantastic stuff. So we had another season finale.
Oh yes. If you haven't watched this TV show, never listen to us again.
But also, please go and watch it.
You'll thank yourself. You'll thank us.
Only Murders in the Building. First season came out last year on Disney Plus, and I was just so won over, unexpectedly won over.
Didn't I recommend it to you?
Possibly, yeah.
I can't remember.
But it was just so... I was just like, yeah, all right. I like... It's not that I don't like Steve Martin, and I like Martin Short, right? But it was just like... It just didn't... At first glance, didn't seem all that. But just, what a fantastic show.
The series 2's just wrapped. It's like wrapped as in finished, it's aired and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Great twist, great reveal of how it all went down, and it's basically been confirmed that Series 3 is happening.
Yep.
And we're not going to say any more about it, other than I thoroughly enjoyed the finale. It was neat little bows. Exactly what you want in a finale.
Yeah, it was. Performances were fantastic. It was funny, because the finale for season 1 was just hilarious.
Did you notice that Steve Martin did? Well, they did another, great physical comedy skit.
Comedy bit, yeah. Just just brilliant, and it all kind of wrapped up in a way that made sense. You weren't going, that doesn't make any sense.
It was done very well.
Really well done. And then, no spoilers, but the setup for season 3, brilliant, and can't wait to see where they go with that. I think that is turned into one of my favourite TV shows.
I'd agree. It's not going to have the longevity as of other comedies, but it shouldn't.
No.
Look at some of the great comedies ever produced. The Office, the UK one, not the American. Fawlty Towers, again, I'm just thinking specifically British. The In-Betweeners, 2 or 3 seasons of 6 episodes, 6-episode series.
Yeah.
Knows when to finish.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what she said.
I think just brilliant. If they can keep this going with this quality, then absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
So do yourself a favour and watch it.
Watch it.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. I don't think we mentioned it.
Oh, well, if we haven't, we'll mention it again. It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Other streaming sites are available, but not for that particular show.
Not for that one. Unless you're in America, in which case, Hulu.
Hulu.
So I think we were going to talk about Better Call Saul, but good grief, look at the time. So I don't know if we want to kind of bump that one on to next time.
I think so. I think, we'll keep that. Well, what we'll probably do is we will record a Better Call Saul episode.
A dedicated one.
And it can be released whenever we want because the power of the internet, continuity doesn't exist.
That's true.
And then, if Disney does something stupid and, shelves the next Black Panther, we'll have to talk about that, won't we?
Well, if Disney do something stupid, they can just fucking wait till we're good and ready to talk about it.
God damn it, you're right.
Fuck Disney. What do they know?
There goes any deals.
So, apart from Only Murders in the Building, apart from Prey, apart from She-Hulk and Marvel, fuck Disney. Fuck Disney. But we will talk about Better Call Saul. Yeah, let's save that one for a separate episode.
It definitely needs talking about because
it does.
I think you and I are coming at it from 2 different directions, and I think that'd be good to discuss.
Oh, really?
Well, no, not in a bad way, but like you sort of kept up with it, whereas I didn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes,
Spoiler
of course. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But Better Call Saul ended a couple of weeks ago as we're recording this. What a show. Let's save any more to a separate episode, which will probably be quite spoilery. So we'll have plenty of warnings before we get into too much detail.
But yeah, do the usual. Like it, share it, tell your friends, tell your enemies.
Smash
all that usual
subscribe button.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
have a nice day.
Have a nice fucking life.
Well, no, we want to have like a nice day because they might listen to us tomorrow. And we don't, if we say have a nice life, they'll never come back.
Have a nice day.
Oh God, you sound like bloody. No, I'm not going to go there. Okay.
Come back soon, yeah.
Would you like fries with that? Cool.
Missing you already.
I mean, this is terrible. Oh, Sandman's pretty good. I'll just leave that there.
Not watched it. Not bothered.
It's all right.
Yeah.
This is such a shit sign off.
Yeah. Bye.